Allow me to be ignorant. Allow me to be ignorant. I've been thinking about conversations, courageous conversations. You know, the difficulty with having conversations that might be sensitive, that are sensitive, is that there's an opportunity to offend. There are opportunities to hurt. There are opportunities to be misunderstood. And in order for you to be able to have conversations that are sensitive but still constructive, that bring about clarity and understanding and hope to bring about some level of change, it has to be a space that is safe, where you are allowed to be ignorant. Ignorance is a lack of knowledge. It's a lack of information, and in fact, there are a lot of us that are in that position. Regardless if we feel like that person should know or by now they should understand, maybe they're just trying to act clueless. The fact of the matter is, there are many of us that are ignorant. So the only way that we're going to be able to bridge that gap, what seems sometimes to be like a chasm, and create that bond is if we're able to allow, provide a space in our lives, if we're able to allow people to be ignorant. I remember there was someone who said, you gotta give people the right to be foolish. You gotta give people the space to be foolish. And I remember that statement vividly. I remember it now, and I thought how true it was, and not in the sense of trying to make fun or insult or belittle anyone. The fact of the matter is, if you're going to love someone, if you're going to have an intimate relationship, if you're going to even show care and respect, you have to allow people to make mistakes, to be foolish, to be ignorant, to be wrong. You got to give them the room to be in those places. And we want people to judge us on our intentions, right? But we end up judging people on our perception of their actions, not understanding that we ourselves might not know their intentions. We ourselves might be ignorant. They might have been ignorant in their actions, right? But our perception of their intentions, or our perception of their actions, we're also demonstrating ignorance in that. So there becomes somewhat of a conflict or a paradox. Because if you're in a situation where you can't feel safe to express, you can't feel safe to share, to listen, to learn, to gain ground and understand, if you don't feel safe, you're going to step back. You're going to step away. And to be honest, what we have today, in my opinion, is that we see people shouting at each other, or talking at each other, from whatever side of the topic, and there's not enough conversations, safe conversations. It's basically just back and forth. Unfortunately, I don't believe that you're going to make any progress from there, at least not from there alone. I was recently talking to someone on my LinkedIn, from my LinkedIn network, and we both agreed. We feel like there are more people who are in the middle. There are more people who want to come together, who see that we're stronger together, who respect the value and the dignity of humanity. And again, no matter what topic, what side you're on, we're stronger together. We can respect each other's differences. Um, we can acknowledge and respect each other's perspectives. Uh, However, you have some people on the fringes who are just shouting back and forth, and then the people in the middle, because they don't want to offend, because they don't want to come across as an ist, right? They don't want to come across ignorant. They just step back and don't engage. They don't say much, or get this, they don't engage at any level that will bring about substantive change, real transformation. And I know that might be subjective, but and the reason for I believe it is because if they ask the wrong question, if they say the wrong thing, then they can become or labeled an ist. If they do the wrong thing, even unintentionally, they become an ist. So they step back. And taking this point deeper, even people on the fringes, let's say amongst themselves, if they decide to share a different viewpoint or engage in some rationale from another viewpoint, they can be looked at as a defector, a traitor of sorts. So the most secure thing is just to keep shouting or somewhat disengage. And from my perspective, again, just from my own perspective, I believe that there are more people in the middle who want to drive meaningful, safe, even though uncomfortable conversations. People want this to be a time of deeper understanding, empathy, connections, so we can drive our world forward constructively. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be circling the same mountain. And if we're circling, let's spiral up. There are topics that are sensitive, but are needed. And I'm purposely not giving a topic. You can choose it. But it's somewhat sensitive. And you find it difficult to talk to him or to her or to that person about it because of how you might be perceived. If you say this, if you say that, if you do this, if you do that, and I don't have the answer. I just believe that it lies in us having intimate conversations, uncomfortable conversations, safe, what I call courageous conversations. And in order for us to have those conversations, we have to allow people to be ignorant. We got to be patient enough with people to allow them to be ignorant. We got to be empathetic enough, loving enough, generous enough to allow people to be ignorant so we can meet them there, just like we would want someone to meet us. The web has allowed people to be able to search on different topics, listen to different voices, and to actually think that they know what's going on. And everybody wants to provide that perception of being smart, the smartest person in the room. Even those people who who read those books and go to those seminars, they might watch those videos, who consider themselves more cerebral. Um, you know, they might wait to the end before they speak. You know, they know the order to listen, right? They might ask those clarifying questions, so that they can look deeper. We use different methods, but at the end of the day, we want to act like if we're the smartest person in the room, or at least like if we're in the know, right? We're woke, and so much so that we don't even realize that we're ignorant. So we then think we got to school somebody. We get impatient with their ignorance, not recognizing that we're knee deep, waist deep in the same ignorance. If we could at least hold hands through this muck, we could actually pull each other out of this. I appeal to anyone who's listening to this. Allow me to be ignorant. Allow others to be ignorant. Allow yourselves to be ignorant. And from that position, have conversations, uncomfortable conversations. Use conversations as that boat rope to pull us out of that muck, that sinking sand. Use a conversation to listen, to reason, to accept, to respect, to connect, to really make those meaningful connections that will drive change for good. That will drive our world forward. We can shout at each other all we want, talk at each other all we want, stand strong in our mess all we want. But at the end of the day, we're just going to be stuck. And I believe what we all want is progress forward, to be able to live stronger together as we move our world in a positive, constructive direction forward together. So start with me. I want to have a conversation. Just allow me to be ignorant.